Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined today by Matt Brinkley, the Director of the Planning Department for the City of Medford. Matt, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, housing in Medford is something kind of we're focusing on today. A lot of need for that, not a lot of vacancies. Kind of what is the status report, if you will, for housing in Medford?
Well, so around the United States, and certainly in this state, there is a housing shortage. As the recession has kind of abated and the economy has improved, we see a lot of pent-up demand for housing, and a lot of people who needed housing even back in 2006, 2007, when Medford, for example, was really booming and we had a lot of construction going on. But there was a lot of demand then, and there remains a lot of demand. Unfortunately, we're not producing as much housing these days as we did back before the recession, and so we don't have enough to go around, and that's for home buyers as well as renters. It affects both of those markets. So for renters, renters throughout the valley are looking at 1% to 2% vacancy rates. That's not anything that's particularly surprising. We've been talking about those numbers for the past couple of years. It's just kind of our new normal and where we're at with the rental housing market. And then with home ownership, we're seeing fewer homes for sale, and as you might expect, because of that, our median home prices are going back up. So back in 2006, right before the recession, our median home price here, I think, was about $275,000. We're about $255,000 right now, the last time I checked a couple months ago. And we also don't have a big inventory of homes. So if you're in the market for a home, there might be 3 or 4 homes that meet your needs, very generally speaking.
Yeah, and they move quickly.
That's right. Probably on the market for about a month.
Okay, and what about the urban growth boundary? I know the city's talked about expanding that. That's obviously a huge part of this. Where are we at with the UGB? So
we've concluded our local process, which means both the city and the county have approved the proposed urban growth boundary. And now it goes to the state, and we'll be submitting that to the state in the next month or so. The state takes a look at it, and hopefully they approve that, and then that is the urban growth boundary. And it's important for people to understand that the urban growth boundary hasn't been expanded since 1991, 1993, back in that time period. And what that means is that we've been working off the same amount of residential and employment land since 1993, effectively. And we're running out. And part of the affordability and availability issue that we're looking at here in the Rogue Valley has to do with the fact that Medford hasn't expanded its urban growth boundary in that long. And at the same time, we've continued to have population growth.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Matt Brinkley, the Director of the Medford Planning Department. So talking about how Medford is trying to grow the urban growth boundary, trying to help the housing market and get more apartment and more options for people. But how much control does the city have in this respect?
Well, the city of Medford, as far as I know, has never constructed, owned, and operated housing. But there are things that we can do, and that's the function right now of the Housing Advisory Committee that was established by City Council. So that Housing Advisory Committee, along with a consultant and our staff in the Planning Department, are looking at strategies that we can employ to lower the barriers for constructing more housing here in Medford and throughout the Rogue Valley. And we've divided those strategies into a couple different areas. One is regulatory reform, so making it easier for our developers and builders to get plans in, get their approvals, and get building. And also to make it less expensive for them to do that as well. And then the second kind of broad area that we're looking at are economic incentives. So ways that we can help a developer, a builder, make their bottom line with a particular housing development. So that might come in the form of things like more public investment in the public infrastructure that enables a neighborhood to develop, things like sanitary sewer, storm sewer, roads, all of those kinds of infrastructure. Or looking at things like reducing system development charges that we charge to build that public infrastructure throughout the entire city. Property tax freezes or abatements. So other economic incentives or strategies that will help make a particular project pencil for a developer.
Yeah, certainly something that bears watching that affects a lot of people. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.